Hello, everybody, and welcome back. Dicko, Mole.
Yes, how are you, mate?
Wow, what a week of fixtures. The tables got even tighter. 4 points from 15th to 5th. Geez, isn't it tightened up? Does that mean the top four are locked in? That's what I want to know. Are the top four locked in?
Well, one of the top four is definitely locked in. I don't think Canberra can not finish in the four. Like they've got, what are they on? They're on 22 points with three buys in hand, plus six home games out of their final 10 games. I'm pretty sure. So you would assume even if they won 50% of those last six home games, that
Mm.
takes them to 36 pretty much, which ultimately gets you top four. I reckon 36.
Yeah, and
Anywhere
guys,
34,
the
36.
interesting thing is that the last place Titans are 2 wins out of the eight. I've never seen a comp like that at the halfway mark. And you know what the X factor will be here? The buy. Whoever starts getting buys will suddenly find themselves in the eight.
Yeah,
Well,
I know, I
the
know.
Cowboys in sixth have the same amount of wins as Newcastle in 15th. There you go. Work that out.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah, that's bizarre.
It's it's
And
bizarre.
everyone
Like,
wants to sack Adam O'Brien, but Toddy Payton's safe. So it's
yeah,
bizarre.
yeah, it is. It's just it's this season is just throwing up some
But
huge
it's great
curveballs.
on the other hand, isn't it? Like every weekend we're getting upsets. I mean, look at the games last weekend. The way the Knights came back to beat Manly was
That
unbelievable.
was sensational.
Yeah, we had some great games. I thought the Tigers Panthers game. Often those games don't live up to the hype, but geez, was a ripper. Was as good a game as I've seen all year.
I don't
Tigers
think there was
got
a dud
robbed.
game. I honestly don't. Oh, apart from the Dolphins Dragons, but I don't think there was a dud game. I thought
Mm.
all the games were quality.
I enjoyed
Most
that because I
impressive
thought
one for
I
me
thought
was
the
the Warriors.
Dolphins were specials. I had my cash on them 13 plus.
Easy money, easy money. What
Mm.
about the Warriors, guys? Wasn't that
Mm.
impressive?
Yeah, yeah,
Over
good
the
game.
Sharks at Shark Park. I
Yeah.
tell you what, the curse of Dizz is back again. Says the Sharks are the new favourites to win the comp, and then they look absolutely horrendous.
I'm
Um,
starting to worry about the Sharkies.
Kyle Hero's injured now too for a few months.
Yeah, and he scored in his last 9 games, so someone's going to have to make up for all those points. But Ronaldo's back, so that helps a little bit. He'll get the crowd going, if nothing else.
I tell you what, I've had enough of cuddling Nico. He's hopeless.
Yeah, he was pretty bad. He
He
was
is
pretty dodgy,
hopeless.
wasn't
Well,
he? Yeah.
not the Knights, but the media are coming out saying that maybe it's time to move him back to fullback and maybe play Atkinson at six and Trindle at halfback.
Mate, I'd drop him to New South Wales Cup and go, mate, sorry, you're not good enough. Because
Yeah,
he's not.
well,
And
he's not.
this is the club that let Luke Metcalf go to the Warriors when all he wanted was not too much money to stay at the Sharkies. I bet they're regretting that right now.
Here's one for you, Dicko.
Mhm.
Dicko Hines is a bigger downhill skier than David Fafita.
Well, well, I don't know about that, but maybe he's got him touch and
But
go. Maybe.
honestly, when the chips are down for the Sharks, you expect your halfback to step up, right? And rise to the occasion. That's not the
Mm.
case.
Mm.
No, that's right. Yeah, it's just I don't know. They're a bit like the Broncos, the Sharks. Really, they can be when they're great, they're great, but when they are poor, they are very, very, very poor. So yeah, I don't know. And Fitzgibbon's had this squad predominantly the majority of this squad now for what 3 or 4 years,
Mm, yeah.
and they keep falling at that sort of semi-final, second week of the final curse stage. So I don't know, like. You got to start asking the question of, is the coach the right man to be able to get them to the next step? Does he need to change the personnel? Do they need something a bit different? Because as you said, the guys that have been entrusted in the key positions aren't sort of performing consistently.
Yeah, and we all thought Fanua Blake would be the answer, give him a even tougher edge up front. But he's been fair, but again, he's gone missing in a few games, hasn't he?
Yeah, yeah. I don't think he's been as good as what he was last year at the Warriors, that's for sure,
Mm,
or as
true.
consistent.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, he has one good game every 4 or 5.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, whether that's just the way they're playing or, but they shouldn't be getting hammered at home. I mean, that's just a no go.
Mm.
It's a difficult place to play at the best of times.
Well, this is the weirdest part, right? They go and beat the Storm at home
Mm.
and then two dismal losses. Like, just absolute rubbish. Like, they got belted by an understrength Roosters side with all their players missing, and then smashed by the Warriors. You
Yeah.
know, yeah,
Yeah.
crazy. But
Yeah.
anyways, moving along. But before we do, massive shout out to our sponsors again for this season: High Caliber, Create, Gripstar. Thanks very much for you guys' support. It's good to see everyone getting amongst the discount codes. Love to see it. And yeah, look forward to continued support over the next couple of years. Guys, I just want to briefly touch on this. I know I'm a little bit biased in terms of Penrith, but the schedule is an absolute joke. The players can't actually get to New Zealand because the game's in Perth. So they can't even back up.
So I wonder whether that's actually. I mean, Molly, you'd probably know more about the draw than what we do in terms of, where it gets done and whatnot. But I wonder if that's actually taken into consideration in terms of a New Zealand game from a Sydney team post state of origin in Perth. You know what I mean? Like when they give it to whoever does the draw, do you reckon that would be taken into consideration?
Well, it should be, shouldn't it? And
Well, you would think so, yeah.
not just a Sydney team. If it was the Tigers or the Dragons or the Sharks, who even don't have any Origin players, it'd be all right. But everyone knew when this draw was done in November that the biggest New South Wales team in Origin would be the Panthers. So if I was a Panthers fan, I'd think it's a conspiracy theory. I think the draw is spat into a computer, but surely someone would double check it because the computer isn't smart enough to think about these things. But someone at the NRL should be, and yeah, that's pretty shabby. It's virtually surrendering 2 points that the Panthers really need.
Yeah,
Well,
and
you say Penrith players though, Diz. Like, don't forget Catewell is on the Maroons, so he won't be
he won't
be
be able to
available as
back up
well.
either.
I mean, if they can't get there, the NRL should really step in and charter a flight. I mean,
Or just move the fixture. How hard is it? Can't be that booked out.
Yeah, but you can't move a fixture this late, and
not with the broadcasting deal. No, I wouldn't have thought
and
so.
and as for chartering a flight, you're talking about going through about 3 or 4 time zones, and player welfare that's tough on guys to back up for starters, but going through 4 different time zones or whatever it is, that's almost impossible.
So I feel like it's a bit of an oversight, really, don't we? Like that really probably shouldn't happen. Like that's a bit of a no-no. Like, I don't even go for Penrith, and I hope they lose against the Warriors, clearly. But you know what I mean? That shouldn't happen. Your best players should be available every week.
It's kind of like a catch-22 because the following week is actually a 5-day turnaround. So it was either, go from Perth to New Zealand and maybe play, but then have to do another 5-day turnaround on the back of that, funnily enough, against the ladder leaders in the Bulldogs. You'd expect Penrith to lose at least one of those games, if not both, I reckon.
Yeah, you're probably spot on there, to be honest. And it's going to be tough for them, that's for sure.
And you can't control it. That's the worst part. And like Molly was saying, we're relying on the buys now to get us a couple of points.
Well, you've only got yourselves to blame. So
yeah, well, exactly right. Now let's talk about State of Origin, guys. The teams are out. Dicko and I are fuming with some of these changes that Billy Slater's made. What do you make of the New South Wales team, Molly?
I also don't think it's the best New South Wales team. I don't know what the selectors see in Stefano. I don't think Max King is a starting Origin prop. Again, Terrell May, his cards have obviously been marked. He's never going to play Origin if he couldn't get in this team. Big Kaon from South Sydney absolutely killed him on the weekend. What he's got to do, I know he's in the squad, but he probably won't play. And there are a couple of other guys that I think the Queenslanders don't want in there, and they'd be quite happy with this New South Wales team. I think it's beatable.
Yeah, well, beatable's a big word. I reckon we're going to get pumped 3-0, but yeah, I don't know, man. I agree with you though. Keon Kolamatangi has been dominating, since he moved to the middle for a number of weeks now, and you can't tell me that Stefano Utoikamanu is better than fair enough. Terrell May's had his issues, but I'd honestly go as far to say that Jake Trbojevic should be ahead of Stefano. That's how far I'd go.
Well, Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of reasons for the reserves. I know Ola Kawatu's having his second child. I heard on the radio yesterday, so was unavailable.
Yeah, he's out.
I think Campbell Graham is injured. Is that right? I'm pretty sure
Yeah, he's
Campbell
not
Graham's
100%. He's had a bad 12 months, really. So
yeah, but I mean, the Lindsay Smith selection's even baffling for me. Like, you can't tell me Terrell May hasn't played better than Lindsay Smith this season,
yeah,
and
agreed.
he can't even be in the extended squad. So there's definitely something going on there. Utai Kamanu, he's played in Origin before, hasn't he? He's played one game of Origin.
Yeah, I think he started and then got dropped, maybe.
Yeah, so I haven't been sold on him as a player anyway. But yeah, I'm not sure whether they're like really beatable. I feel like New South Wales should win this comfortably, personally, but I definitely think they're a little weaker, as you said, Molly, than what they were in the first game.
The bigger news is coming out of Queensland, though, isn't it? Daly Cherry Evans gone.
No, it's a shambles.
Cameron Munster is the new captain. What's your thoughts on Munster, Dicko?
I don't mind it. I must admit, I'm surprised, and I know you sent us a text before we jumped on here, Molly, and said a gamble. I kind of agree with that, definitely. The fact that he's not a club captain, I must admit, I'm a bit surprised that they didn't go with a Harry Grant or someone like that. But Munster, out of the candidates, I would have thought. So I would have thought it would have been Munster, Grant, Tino, or Paddy Carrigan would have been the four.
Well, I thought they would go a little bit more youthful as well.
Yeah,
like longer term captain, because Munster's got maybe 2 or 3 years left.
but out of those four that I sort of said that I thought it was going to be, I thought Munster plays the 80 minutes. He's on the field definitely for the 80 minutes. The other guys, come off at some point. So I'm not surprised in that. And he's an emotional player at Munster, so he will hard on sleeve. Very different to Cherry Evans. Cherry Evans is like a Cam Smith. They're a real sort of thinker, real sort of organizer, whereas I think Munster's more of a get the lasso around the rest of the boys and drag them with him type sort of.
I'll tell you what, Billy Slater's been pretty canny with his decisions, because if you listen to his interview yesterday, they questioned like who's the captain going to be, and he didn't give away much. And someone sort of said, the players up, for consideration in who you just mentioned, Grant, Paddy Carrigan,
Tino, yep.
Tino, they're not 80-minute players. And he basically rebutted that within half a second and said, it doesn't matter if they don't play 80 minutes. We'll pick the best captain for Queensland.
Yeah, well, see, I think
Dog's not happy about this Munster selection, clearly. Munster.
Yeah, I don't know.
Guys, my view, as you said, Dicko, he's an emotional player, and that can blow up in your face. It can work well, but if things go against him, and we've seen it in the past, he can lose his cool, and you don't want that in your captain. And there are going to be stages in this game where things will go against him, particularly with Ashley Klein having the whistle. And so I think it's definitely a gamble. It might work, it might not, but I think Queensland have decided they're at the stage where they need to gamble.
Well, I tell you, Billy Slater's a big fan of Mo Fotuaika, because he ran for 38 metres in game 1 as the starting front rower. I think they had 9 sets of 6 in the opening stint that he was on the field, and he ran 4 times. And he's kept his spot. And poor Corey Horsburgh, who's been absolutely crushing it, doesn't even make the team.
Yeah, I'd start with Horsburgh, the way he's been playing, and he's got that passion that you want from a front rower, and that aggression. Again, you go back to what the opposition want. I think they'd much prefer Mo than Corey.
Totally. And like I've said, they've made a few changes to their starting lineup as well. Kurt Capewell and Ruben Cotter. I mean, you could call both almost makeshift second rowers. Mind you, I was talking to Dicko the other day. I had a look at the QRL. We don't have much to pick from at the moment, unfortunately, who can come through the ranks. But yeah, I kind of get it with Paddy Carrigan and Jeremiah Nanai coming off the bench. Jeremiah and I more so than Paddy Carrigan, but what's your thoughts, Dicko, on the whole Trent Liero starting at lock and sticking with Ruben in second row?
So, my biased Bronco opinion is that for the life of me, I can't work out why Carrigan's not starting, either in lock or in the front row. Personally, he's a starting player.
You'd almost have Mo Fodawaker on the bench.
I'd almost have Mo Fodawaker not in the 20, to be honest with you, after that performance in game one.
Mm.
That's enough for me to not give him another
You pick
jersey.
the front row from the team coming last.
Well, that's right, but Tino picks himself. This fascination with Ruben Cotter in the back row, it continually just baffles me. He's a middle player. I don't understand it. Queensland back rowers, when you compare them to New South Wales, I don't think provide anything in terms of attack. There's no threat of ball running. There's no offload. They're basically tacklers. And even with Capes, who I think's been going really well for the Warriors, albeit playing a bit of centre and back row. So, but then if I put my coaching hat on, I understand why he's gone from Carrigan and Nenai on the bench, because I thought Jeremiah Nenai was Queensland's best player personally in game one, although he had a few errors, but I thought he was dangerous every time he was near the ball. He tackled, defended really well. But he's obviously looking for some impact off the bench, which they got none in game one, right? They got none off the bench. So he's looking for some impact. I expect Carrigan to play huge minutes, even though he's not starting. I would not be surprised if he does start. It's a late change. The coaches like to do that. I love the Kurt Mann selection. It just his performance yesterday for the Bulldogs solidified that selection for me. I was a little concerned about it, but I thought he was excellent for the Bulldogs, playing as like a middle sort of running link-up man forward. I thought he was really good. And the try that he scored or he set up right at the end there, I thought
Set one up, yeah.
Set one up, was it? Yeah, I thought that was brilliant, sort of ball playing. So I really think he's going to be a great addition to the team. But for me, it breeds a little bit desperation, the selections. The Dearden DCE one, I can understand why they picked Daly in game one, but I really think they should have made the call then and just picked Tommy Dearden in game one and not this whole what's happened now. I really, all we're going to hear for the next week is the media in New South Wales saying that Queensland have gone away from their loyalty selection policy, and they've probably got some ammunition there for it, to be honest, because this wouldn't have probably happened 5-6 years ago. So I just think they should have made the call in game one. DCE hasn't done himself any favours, mind you, in terms of contract situations and the way Manly are playing. But yeah, I liked the Kalen Ponga selection. I thought he tried really hard and was okay in the first game. The rest of the guys, Toya, I'm glad he gets another opportunity. I thought he was excellent. But I mean, the proof's going to be in the pudding. Like, what sort of performance? They clearly missed the start. They were out-muscled. They weren't physical enough. They didn't have the intensity in the first game, and it's whether they can do it against this New South Wales team, who are bloody good. And Queensland's record in Perth is ordinary. I don't think we've won a game in Perth. So they've changed up the way they're doing it. They're going earlier to Perth. So they're, I think, a couple of days earlier than what they would normally or have normally gone before. But yeah, I'm hopeful more than I'm confident in terms of this Queensland's performance on next Wednesday night. But Molly, I wanted to ask you. I was listening around the Ezra Mam selection in the squad in the 20. He's named at 18th man. So, what do you think about that? Are you? What are they? I know they're hammering him down south. What do you sort of think about that?
Yeah, I wasn't impressed. We all agree. I think he got off very lightly for a pretty serious offence. Now it's like he's being rewarded. I mean, he probably won't play. He won't get on the field. Why go through all this angst? They've got plenty of other good utilities to pick from. I just thought it was an unnecessary move that they knew would just attract bad headlines, and it has.
I just think we need to be mindful in terms of it's actually, the player did the indiscretion or, and what he did, but it's not his fault on terms of the punishment, right? So he wasn't the one who did the punishment. So the NRL, I think, need to take some accountability. I said originally when this first came, I was really surprised he only got 9 weeks. I probably would have sat him down for a minimum of half a season, if not the whole season, personally. And I'm a Broncos supporter, right? But we can't blame the player for the punishment. The punishment is actually not the player's fault. So I'm not a big fan of this booing and carrying on. I feel there's a part of me that feels sorry for him for that. Like, he's done his punishment, he's done his time. What he did was horrendous and horrific, and we don't condone any of it. But I think there's some, we need to sort of move past it, I think, because it's just this lingering issue of it. Okay, Ezra's been back now for 3 weeks. He's played 3 games. He's done his punishment. The punishment was ordinary from the NRL and the Broncos, mind you, and the courts.
And the courts. Let's not
and the courts.
forget the judge.
That's right, exactly. So again, it's not the player's fault. And for that, I feel a little sorry for Ezra, because it's not, it's not like he's gone out there and sort of said, I think I should get 9 weeks.
He's done the punishment. And
yeah,
it's an awkward situation for a player. I just hope mentally, I mean, obviously everyone thinks the punishment should be more severe. And it should have been. But mentally, it's got to impact the player at some point.
Well, I just think, and I just think, like, if, it's done now. If the punishment's over, let's now just move forward. You know what I mean? Let's stop worrying about this.
But I also get Molly's point in, like, if he was never going to play.
Yeah, why do it? Yeah, you're right.
Like, you're just attracting back. Like, they knew, surely, that the headlines would come if they picked him.
Well, see, I don't mind him in the 20. I don't think he should be 18th man, because that does give him a chance to play.
But do you know what I think it more comes down to? The genuine need that if one of those boys goes down injured, we don't actually have anyone else to come in except for him.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Like, that's the problem, really, for Queensland. It's like,
well, they see him as the future, and, all the drama aside, he is a very good player. I thought his first game back was outstanding, and
it was good again the other night. Yep.
Yeah, it was good.
Well, it would have been him or Jamal Fogarty. Is that? Can't think of any other halves that we would even pick.
Oh, Sam Walker, but he's only coming back 1 game back. So yeah, it's interesting. But I don't know. I'm a bit, as I said, I'm more hopeful than confident about Queensland in this next game.
Yeah. We'll leave our tips and predictions till next week, on the Origin. Once the dust settles. Now, a bit of controversy in that Penrith Tigers game. The Luai penalty. I'm a Penrith fan, obviously, but that was a joke. And I was expecting, the NRL to come out and say, we got that one wrong. But they've doubled down and gone, regarding the contact on the kicker, word for word, the rules are very clear and have been reinforced with clubs on multiple occasions. The players have a duty of care to avoid dangerous contact with the kickers who are in the process of kicking and in a vulnerable position. This is a player safety policy which has been in place for a number of years. So with kick pressure,
I'm going to hope. Now, I don't agree with the penalty, but I'm going to just bat for the NRL here. I'm going to hope that they penalised him for the non-wrapping of the arms, right? And taking the player to ground. Like, if that incident is done again and Luai tackles him, as in bear hugs him, and then drives him to the ground, I would hope that that's not a penalty, because he's actually gone. The duty of care is to put him on the ground, although be it, quite significantly with force, but not in a dangerous position. He's done his job as the defender, but because he didn't, I'm going to hope that's why they penalised him, because I thought the whole thing was a joke. This whole pressuring the kicker rubbish is becoming just, for the life of me, I don't know where we're getting to. I don't know.
Fans not happy about it, Dicko, and firsthand. I mean, you've seen our page. We posted the video of this incident on our page, it's had over 750,000 views and over 1.5 thousand comments.
Mm.
And most of those comments are just how much of a joke the game's become. In terms
And guys, I thought there was an even worse example yesterday in the Canterbury Para game with Moses, the king of the dives, looking like he'd been shot.
he was on the 10-meter springboard at the Olympics.
Yes. And not only was Kickout penalised, he was sin binned. And, of course, they scored while he was binned. He could have cost the Bulldogs the game. And the diving is what really just exacerbates the whole thing. It just makes it a joke. And, you know, Kickout was basically running and Moses's leg hit him. So, you know, I don't think he was out to cause any harm. Yes, he did touch his leg, but for Moses to go down like he was shot, that was pretty shabby, I thought.
Oh, he practiced.
And he's got a history of it.
He practiced that diving for sure.
So is the days of kick pressure now gone, Molly, do you think?
Just about, yeah. I mean, you look at players now, they actually, when the kicker kicks the ball, a lot of them will grab the kicker and ease him down to the ground, you know, just to make sure he doesn't.
They may as well just go, look, when the kicker's got the ball, you can run at him, but you can't touch him.
Oh, God, don't start that, because then you'll have players running at him and then stopping. Seriously, don't start.
No, that's what it's like, though.
I know it is. And it's like kick pressure is about timing your pressure to hit the bloke when he's making contact with the football. Taulagi wasn't even off the ground. He had 1 foot on the ground and he was making contact with the footy as he was hit. It looked spectacular. He didn't get in any dangerous position. I think he landed on his side, didn't he? Or his back?
Well, he literally got tackled and and there was a wrapping motion. I just watched the replay then. There's actually a wrapping motion.
So then we've penalised him for that. These drop kicks that are running the show up in wherever the judiciary or the rules around that, are they ex-footballers? Because they need their heads read if they're not.
It's not like the kicker knows there's no pressure coming.
Well, that's what they think now, mate. This is the problem. You watch it on State of Origin. The kickers will have head down onto the ball the whole time, not worried about any pressure because they know they can't be hit. I mean, and you said there was one incident out of this game. What about the Dylan Brown missing a week for running into the ref?
Yeah,
yes, I put on Twitter the ref should have been penalised for running in his way.
Exactly. You know, Molly, I was literally about to say that because if you look at it again, Dylan Brown's got his eyes in the air at the footy, watching the footy, and he's running directly to where the ball's going to land. Now, you tell me why the referee is in any way in that line of where a player's going to be running at the football.
Yeah. And then he stops. I mean, the collision was inevitable. It was an accident. Surely Parramatta will challenge it. I haven't heard what.
Well, you saw it the other week. Did you see old mate get hit with the ball? Trying to get out of the way?
It's a grade 2 contrary conduct charge. You got to be kidding. Yeah, I mean, the NRL are just digging a hole for themselves, and it's making supporters like us and the plebs.
Do you reckon they're doing it on purpose to get the clicks so there's more viewers? Because we've got more viewers than.
Well, Molly's also right in terms of this diving rubbish. I mean, what should be sent to the bin, Molly, in all seriousness. Instead of sending kick out to the bin when he accidentally runs into someone's leg, the bloke diving, trying to carry on like an idiot, should be sent to the bin, as Molly said. This diving is becoming out of hand.
Well, they brought it in soccer. In rugby league.
What about the holding the back of the head for the crusher tackle when there's a little bit of pressure on your head? I mean,
okay,
seriously.
Let's talk about that. Moses Leota incident. Did anyone see that crusher?
No, I didn't see that.
His head was to the side of him, and he got pinged for a crusher.
Yeah.
And
all you got to do these days is hold the back of your head and scream. You'll get a penalty.
Well, he literally did the crushing motion, right? And the motion didn't look great.
Yeah.
But his head was out to the side of his arms. So he basically crushed down on his right shoulder. And he's been pinged for a crusher. And now he's going to miss 3 weeks or something.
I think there's a new position for you, Molly. I think head of referees. Can we get you on there? Can we get you there running the show?
Well, I don't know if you guys saw, but they were advertising for jobs in the bunker, and I put my hand up. It was on LinkedIn. I put my hand up. Couldn't get a start.
They must be struggling then if you can't get a start. Jeez. Yeah, I don't know, mate.
I'm
It's
just looking
baffling.
at the judiciary charges. They dropped it.
What?
The Leota incident.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Was he put on report, was he?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they were almost going to bin him.
Mate, everything's been put on report these days.
Yeah, and I reckon 75% of the blokes on report, you never hear any more of it. I wonder why they even bother, because they know it's going to be reviewed on video. I mean, you're a naughty boy, you're on report. It's just
well,
mean.
to put in perspective, John Bateman, which tripping was used to be a automatic sin bin, he got 1 week for tripping.
Yeah.
In comparison.
So, you know how we said about the kick-out one, Molly? So kick-out's been a grade 1 dangerous contact charge. Why wasn't then Luai given a grade 1 dangerous contact charge if it was a penalty?
Because that was a Friday night or a Saturday night game, and the other one was a Sunday game.
You know what I mean? That's talking about the consistency of it there, right? Both of them.
Well, there is no consistency. That's why we're all upset.
Well, here's the funniest part, right? So kick-out goes to the bin. It's just come out that he's been found not guilty. So no charges at all, not even a fine, nothing.
Well, see, then, as we alluded to a minute ago, there should be a charge on Moses, because you'd swear he'd been shot.
How about we put charges on the bunker?
How would we classify
if they get it
that?
wrong, they get fined. Why not? If the players get it wrong, they get fined.
How could we classify that? Grade 1 stupidity?
Well, that's it. I mean, let's examine this, guys. The bunkers had 8 looks at that and decided that Kickow was guilty of a very serious offence and had to go to the bin, and the NRL's just tossed it out. I mean, clearly whoever was in the bunker yesterday had absolutely no idea what he was doing.
I'd love the NRL to just come out and go, that was the wrong decision. That bunker official is not getting paid for that match and is suspended for the next 3 weeks. No, honestly, it should be like that. Because
what it's going to take, mate, for that is it's going to take that incident to happen in a grand final and it to literally cost a team a grand final.
What it does is it forces bunker officials to use their brain.
Yeah.
That's what it does.
As we said, we brought it up a few weeks ago on the podcast when Molly, we were talking about it, you and I, how the same bunker official isn't in the bunker all weekend, I still don't know. You are never going to get consistency when you are having a game officiated by a different bunker official every game. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, but imagine if the guy who made the kick-out call, and I don't know who it was in the bunker all weekend.
Yeah, well.
The whole weekend would have been jam-bollock.
Yeah. Well, he wouldn't have a job this week, mate, if he lined up a Centrelink. So... Yeah, I mean, something's got to change. I don't know the answer to it. I'd love the NRL to have a bit of a fan forum personally and have a bit of a chat to the fans, because the fans are the ones that are paying good money to go now to games. The NRL is making that much money now. Attendance, I think it's at its all-time highest in terms of people going to games across the NRL, and yet we're the ones who are being disappointed when we're using our hard-earned cash to go and watch our team, and it's being spoiled by idiot decisions.
Yeah,
and that's what's got to change.
Yeah, I can't argue with any of that.
I think the people that were previously die-hard footy fans have stopped going to the games. Like, I don't think you see like people who like ourselves. Like, I used to go to games a lot. I reckon I've been to 4 games in the last 2 years. And I just find it better to watch at home, because at the ground, you actually have no idea what's going on.
Well, what gets me, mate, and I'm a Broncos fan, and I love it when they win. I hate it when they lose. But at the end of the day, I want the players to decide the result, not the officials. Yeah. And I felt like in a couple of games over the weekend, specifically that Parramatta Penrith game, I thought the officials had a big determining factor in the result of that game by just a few of their decisions. Not the Parramatta Penrith game, the Penrith Tigers game.
Tigers game. Yeah, absolutely.
I felt like the officials had a big say in the outcome of the game. And it's happened, not just that game, but it's happened, in countless games this year where you sort of sit back and you go, you know what? That was a really good game of footy that we sat and we watched. And yet in the last 10 minutes, the referee decided he was going to get involved. And the outcome of the game's then gone. As soon as it happened.
That's exactly what Benji said, isn't it? That the players have got it tough enough without the officials deciding the game, and he'll probably get fined for it.
Yeah, the officials there, don't forget, and he needs to be reminded, and the NRL, to manage the game, not to determine the result of the game. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. That's what he needs to do. Manage the game, don't determine the result.
Yeah, fair enough.
Said it better myself. Round 15, gents, before we wrap up. Team lists obviously aren't out yet, but Sharks versus Dragons. This is a disgraceful start to the weekend. It's a local derby.
Your hate of the Sharks is brilliant. I'm loving it.
I can't handle them. They're $1.33. Can someone explain that? I know the Dragons are rubbish, but
yeah, the Dragons have got a lot of injuries
of
as well. And they got Val in Origin, and
mind you, after that Dolphins performance, goodness,
and they're ordinary. Yeah.
What happened there? What happened last week with the Dolphins? I don't understand. The Dragons.
The Dragons, yeah.
Pitched up.
Guys, I rate the Dolphins. You look at that back five; they're probably the quickest and as close to the best back five as you've got. They're all capable of running 90 metres to score, and they were doing it last week. And, guys like the Hammer, I mean, we still haven't seen him at full speed. He just lopes along and scores tries for fun.
Mate, Isaiah Katoa, he is probably, him and Metcalf are the two best number 7s in the game at the moment in terms of current form.
Yeah.
They are outstanding. Katoa is outstanding. He has come along so much, even in the space of 14, what are we in? Round 15, did you say? 14 rounds or 13 rounds. Like, they started like a basket case the first 4 games. Remember, they were on 4. The Dolphins. And they've just stuck with it. They've been hammered news today. Tommy Gilbert and Daniel Saifidi both out for the season. Both won't play again this season. And Maxi Plath.
Yeah.
And Maxi Plath. So, I mean, if they stay relatively okay with injuries, Molly, I reckon they're a top 8 shoe-in. But if they get a few more injuries, I feel like it's going to be really difficult for them to sort of hold on as the season goes on. But yeah, I want to ask you about this Dragons. When's Kyle Flanagan going to get dropped?
That's a question I refuse to answer.
Let's get Shane on.
Because I think we all know what the answer is. And guys, I coached my son in under-6 soccer, and I found it hard. I don't think fathers should coach sons. It's just puts too much pressure on both of them.
Yeah, you're right.
And you either treat your kid too hard or you treat him too easy. And in my under-6 soccer, the other parents, I knew they were watching everything I did. And at the Dragons, the fans, the other players, they're watching Flanagan. They're waiting for him. If you remember, after round 1, he criticised Ilias. He just threw him under the bus, and that was the end of Ilias.
Well, he ran 9 times last week, Kyle Flanagan, for 36 metres.
He tries
4 metres.
He tries really hard. I'll give him that. But no. But what I'm saying is that, is it a case of, if he drops him, is that the nail in the Kyle Flanagan NRL career? The final nail, if he drops him?
Well, if his own dad... Because if he's moved around a few clubs, Absolutely.
he's struggled at times, Bulldogs, Roosters. Was he at the Sharks as well?
Was it the Sharks for a couple of games?
For a couple of games.
He's been dropped every club he's been at, so
hasn't set the world on fire. Like, I feel like Shane knows that if he drops him, that could be the final nail in the NRL career.
Well, it's interesting because
I don't know whether he's got the heart to do it.
Right? Like, he was the 7. Now Kyle is the 7. but he's not acting like a 7.
Well, you can't pick him again after that on the weekend. That was a joke.
Yeah. Guys, I can tell you for a bit of background, when he was at the Bulldogs, they dropped him, and Gus, who was thinking of the kids' long-term well-being and welfare, said to him, go to England. Go to England for a
Yeah.
couple of years. Plenty of halfbacks have done that. Shane knocked it on the head and said, no, my son's not going to England. So,
Really?
yeah. I don't know if I'm supposed to have said that, but...
Well, you did now, Molly. It's out there.
Look, yeah, I think as long as the halves are that combination, they're going to really struggle to win games of footy.
Agreed.
I had Toby Cashman playing second row. That's like Ruben Cotter playing second row for Queensland. The Dragons are like the Maroons. Yeah, it's not good. But in saying that, honestly, you saw the Sharks against the Roosters a couple of weeks ago against, obviously the Chooks in Gosford. Chooks had no Origin players and won 40-16 or something. Can the Sharks lose this?
Yeah, yes, they can, but I don't think they will. I'll be tipping the Sharks.
I'll be giving the 10.5. I think the Dragons really struggle. The Dragons are a big side and they can bully ordinary teams, but their size and their bulk counts against them because the big guys struggle with their lateral movement. As soon as they come up against a team that throws the ball around, as the Dolphins do probably as well as anyone, they're in trouble.
Yep. No, I agree. All right, so we're locking in the Sharks then, comfortably.
You're locking the Sharks in, Dizz?
Well, after saying all that, yeah, I am.
You can't say that and go
I
to
can't
the
tip the
Sharks.
Dragons. You're kidding yourself. They lost by 50 to the Dolphins. 50.
All right. That's contradiction at its finest there, ladies and
So,
gentlemen.
look, what I will say is if the Sharks don't win this by at least 20, you can put a line through it.
Mate, I've already got a line through them, so yeah.
Yeah, well, if you haven't already.
Next game.
They got no players out to Origin. If Nico Hines doesn't dominate this game, you can put a line through him as well.
This is the sort of game Nico will stand up in.
Yeah, that's right, Molly. Exactly right.
Downhill killer in his finest hour.
Yeah.
Titans, Seagulls. Far out. Just gets better, doesn't it?
Friday night footy, yeah, good.
Weekend. Look, this is Friday night, so only 2 games. Wait, is that right?
Yeah.
Sorry,
yes,
yeah. Friday night footy. Titans, Seagulls. Daly Cherry Evans obviously not in Queensland camp. Does that mean that with Mo Fodawaker and Tino, that Titans have got Buckleys?
They are, for me, 1,000 to 1 to win this. The Titans.
They're not good, are they? Des can't be safe. He's got to be gone soon.
He's got a very good contract, Des.
Yeah, obviously. He is shocking.
His lawyer did a good job. And I don't totally discount him in that I think Jaden Campbell's a champion. I think AJ Brimson's a very good player. I think Brian Kelly's very underrated. Alfonso scores a try every week, doesn't he? So they've got points in them. It's just whether their defence decides to turn up.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Regan Campbell-Gillard's been a bit disappointing, hasn't he?
Well, to be honest, mate, a lot of them have been a bit disappointing. Like, I think the Sea Eagles come and do a job here on the Titans, and the drums are beating Molly if they get done here, Gold Coast on Friday night. I think you do say that his contract's pretty airtight, but the drums have to be beating if they get done, especially if they get put to the sword.
Well, have they not come out, the Titans board, and said he's safe until end of 2026? Did I read that? Or
they did, which is always concerning.
That's a worry.
You got to question the organisation there.
No, but the Sea Eagles,
they might have Toby Sexton soon. You never know.
Tommy Trbojevic might be back too for this game, so I'll be tipping the Sea Eagles. And in light of Molly's sports bet, I'll be going the 13+ for the Sea Eagles here, I reckon.
Yes, let's not forget the Sea Eagles lost to the Knights after leading 16-0. I'm still shaking mad over that and shaking my sports bet account.
Yeah, not good. So lock in the Sea Eagles, Molly. You going Sea Eagles?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sea Eagles as well. Now, Speaking of the Knights and speaking of players coming back in, Jackson Hastings, he's back, baby.
Molly's been calling for this for
He's
about
back.
6 weeks.
Are they going
Well,
to
he's the best halfback they've got. That's the
season?
bottom line. And
You're
it's
right,
taken
Molly.
Adam O'Brien half the season to realise it. And he's only back because of injury. It's a bizarre situation. What's going to happen if he's man of the match?
Well, I'm tipping the Knights with confidence. Oh, they're going to win this. They're going to win this. And Jackson Hastings is going to tell Adam O'Brien to shove it up his clacker, I reckon.
Yeah.
What do you reckon? The Roosters have got a lot of players out.
Yeah, the Roosters also can bring
Walker's
Sam.
back, I hear.
Just yeah,
Walker's
well,
back,
this
mate.
is the thing. The Roosters, I think, have been going quite well with Savala at halfback and Sandon Smith at 5'8".
No Angus, no Lindsay Collins, no Robert Toya. Who else is missing?
Does he pull the trigger and bring Sam Walker straight back in, do you think? Or does he give him another few weeks in New South Wales Cup?
I reckon he's got to bring him in with all the players out. And let's not forget Tedesco, who probably should be in Origin, is just killing them week in, week out. And no Ponga.
Well, Fletcher Sharp will get another crack at fullback, and we've seen what he can do there.
For the Knights,
good play.
Yeah, no, no, I'll tip the Roosters in this. I think with Tedesco and the potential return of Walker, they should get the job done. But I think
will
it might be
Savala
close.
get dropped, or will Sandon Smith get dropped?
I don't think either of them will get dropped. I don't think they can drop either of them. I think both of them. Well, don't forget Connor Watson's out.
Well, where's he
so-
play then?
Well, one of them might play. Can Savala play like back row? Can he play
Well,
lock?
Sandon Smith might play hooker.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's what'll happen. Yeah. I think you'll find a way to get all three of them in.
I do too. Yeah, I do too. Yeah. So for me, Roosters.
Yeah, me too.
All right, Knights for me. Cowboys, Dolphins. This one's interesting because it's on Saturday night. Will Ruben Cotter and Dearden and Nanai back up?
No, they're not playing this week. Remember, this Origins next week. So they.
Oh, sorry, no, they're out. They're
yeah,
gone.
they're out. Yep.
Yeah, well, that's just changed my thoughts. I don't know where my head was at, but you can lock in the Dolphins for me.
So
they've got an injury crisis though, the Dolphins, as we touched on a minute ago, but they've still got that back five that I love. So
no Hammer.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's a big loss. This is why I don't like the Origin period, guys. I really don't like the Origin period.
Yeah, it's hard, Molly. Seriously, it's almost, these games are almost irrelevant, to be honest, because you know,
teams are getting penalised for having good players.
Well, who partners for the Cowboys? Purdue, because they've had Duffy and they've had Clifford.
This is more of an important game than what I reckon we sort of think. 6th versus 7th here, and I'm just looking at the ladder. If you can sneak a win here, and let's say Cronulla get done, then you go above them for both of these teams into just off the top 4.
Well, I think it's a joke that the Cowboys are 6th, to be honest.
Well, yeah, but we've just explained about the ladder, mate. It's a joke. There's a lot of things that are a joke about the ladder.
They got a negative 52 point differential.
Yeah. They don't defend.
It's a 4-point game, this one, for sure.
Yeah, I agree with you, Molly. Like, I just think the Dolphins have got heaps of self-belief at the moment and playing and across the board. I know they got some injuries and I know the Cowboys have got some players out, but even if both teams were at full strength, I reckon I'd tip the Dolphins in this one. I just think they're playing tough footy. They've conceded about 10, I think average the last 6 weeks, about 10 points a game. So the defense is right there.
The last 2 weeks, they've scored 100.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm going to tip the Dolphins in this, but I do think it will be close. The Cowboys always play well at home.
You've talked me into it, Dolphins.
Rabbitohs, Bulldogs to round out the round.
It sucks for the Bulldogs because they not only miss Stephen Crichton and Max King, they will not have Matt Burton for this either, who will be 18th man. So he can't play in this, which again is a farce, I believe. I think the 18th man should be allowed to go back and play for their club. I think that's a joke.
Well, the beauty of that story and what I love, controversially to most, is that Lockie Galvin will start with Toby Sexton in the halves, and that is juicy.
Yeah. And the Rabbitohs are under assault in terms of injuries. Cody Walker's out again. Latrell will not play, obviously, because
he's got to retire, Cody Walker. Surely. He can't string more than 4 games together.
Yeah, mate, I don't know. Like
His body's letting him down.
his body is starting to let him down. I think so. Yeah.
Well, there's a few blokes in that category, aren't there? I think we'll have a few retirements at the end of this season.
Yeah, I agree. For this one, I'm going to tip the
Kurt
Bulldogs for
Mann's
this one.
out.
Yeah, I'll tip the Bulldogs for this one. There'll be another big crowd too. What's it, Sunday Arvo at a core? What was there on the weekend? Was it 50,000 there?
Yeah, 59,000.
What is it, $9 a ticket this weekend or?
$1 off.
Yeah.
But
Well,
let's
the Rabbitohs home game, so there'll probably be 10,000 there.
Yeah, probably.
But guys, the fans aren't mugs, and they know the best 10 players are going to be missing. You know, I think a lot of them will say, "Oh, we'll watch this one on the couch."
So, yeah, they may not turn up. You're right. And this is the issue, Moley, as it is with Origin. What's the draw card to get down to Homebush on a Sunday Arvo to watch the Rabbits versus Bulldogs when what? The 6 best players in both teams are not playing.
Yeah, it's like New South Wales Cup.
Exactly right. So there's just no draw card. And this is the issue the NRL has. We could go down a rabbit hole. We're not going to do that today about what should happen at State of Origin time. But yeah, this is the downside of Origin, right? Pretty much this game. I think so.
Yep, agreed.
Lock
And
in
it's
the
a lottery. Like, who knows who's going to win? I'll go Souths. I don't know why. I've got to pick one.
Yeah, that's it.
Last round, where we thought there was morals left, right, and centre, every game was an upset when Origin was on last round.
Yeah, exactly.
So at the moment, we've tipped all the favourites, so we might be 0 from 5 again. Let's see how we go. Anyway, gents, good session. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll be back next week to preview the Origin on Wednesday night.
Sounds good.
Good luck on the weekend.
All right. Thanks, mate.